Right, welcome back to the What If channel. This is chapter 45. It's been a little while since my last video, which was in January, so I've got two videos planned. First one, this one is going to be about my schedule for the year, the race calendar season update, and the next video is going to be talking about how to deal with setbacks, which will make more sense once I get through this video. So let's start off with the race calendar, as I've not gone through that yet. So this year, like any year, Littlehampton Frosty in March, Worthing Runfest 10k in May, Arundel Triathlon in May, Eastbourne Triathlon in July, Brighton Triathlon in September, pretty much do those every year. And then I've got the World Champs in Spain in Pontevedra towards the end of September. As you know, I qualified for the World Champs in Pontevedra via my performance in Australia at the World Champs out there in Wollongong. I achieved that by coming 15th overall in my age and the third Brit over the line. So that's the plan. Started off pretty well, did the Frosty. We went into the Frosty as a C race this year, not a B or an A, which meant no taper at all. To give you an idea of what I mean by no taper, it was 14 hours of training in the week running up to the race, including training on the Saturday before the Sunday, which was the race. I did over 10k in the pool, 57k's worth of running, and 240k's on the bike, which would have been a mixture of zone 2 and zone 4 work. Despite all of that, I did really well. I was really pleased with the performance. I didn't actually have to empty the tank particularly, and I still came second overall. Potentially should have gone with the guy that went past me for first, but decided against it as I wasn't sure how long my legs would last considering the lack of taper. I probably should have been a bit braver, something learned from that. But like I say, it was second overall, good performance, felt comfortable, fifth out of the water, ran myself into first place, and then a young uni student from Southampton passed me, and I kind of ummed and ahed about going with him. And in hindsight, probably could, because his run time was about what I did last year. But anyway, still a good performance, and he did really well. So as I said, great start. And then things started to fall apart a little bit. So I had to pull out of the Runfest 10k race in May because basically since March, a couple of weeks after the Frosty, I've not been able to run. I've managed to get an injury called Plantar Fasciitis, I believe it's called. Not something I'd ever heard of before. It's one of those injuries that, well, I say one of those injuries, it seems to be one of those injuries that just doesn't go away. So we're recording this, 24th of June, and since middle of March, I've ran 3 times, and I'm still not running now. So that's a kind of setback, which we'll come on to into the next video. And then just to sort of add into that, so I couldn't do the Runfest, so the next race was the Arundel Tri in May, and I literally got ill the week before the race. Didn't do any training for 8 days, and then went into the race. So first race of the season, went in with no taper. Second race of the season, went in having done no training for a week and feeling pretty rough, and I was still rough on the day. However, again, a bit like the Frosty, actually quite a decent result. I was 4th overall. Fastest swim, which actually turns out, I didn't know this, but as it turns out, I've actually had the fastest swim for the last 2 years. So that's kind of cool. I didn't know this, like I say, I had to dig into the figures to do this video. And interestingly, the time that I did this year was only 30 seconds slower than last year. And that's despite no run training and being ill the week before. So whilst I was disappointed because my target for this race at the beginning of the year was to try and win it, obviously I didn't do that. But the figures suggest, considering the caveats that I've just mentioned, I could have won it. So yeah, so in 2025, I finished in 1:49 and 10 seconds. In 2026, I finished in 1:49 and 40 seconds, which is kind of weird. So yeah, so then the next race after that is now Eastbourne Triathlon in July. That is the qualifier for the Worlds in, where is it next year? Next year it's in Hamburg in Germany. So again, like before, I need to come 4th in my age to automatically qualify. Again, I could qualify in theory in Pontevedra if I achieve what I did in Australia. The only downside of that is there's going to be a lot more Brits in Pontevedra than there were in Australia, and the competition is going to be much, much stiffer, I think, as a result, plus a lot more Europeans. So that's more unlikely. So I do need to try and qualify in Eastbourne. So with Eastbourne, and considering the results I've just talked about, and considering also that because of the lack of running, I've had to up the bike, or my coach has upped my bike quite considerably. I'm now doing on average 15 and a half K in the pool, and I'm doing on average 9 to 10 hours a week on the bike. So tactic is smash it in the swim, smash it in the bike, and then hope that my legs hold together. Like I say, I can't do any running at all. I didn't do any running going into Arundel, but I was able to run in Arundel in the race, and then had to rest my foot for the next sort of couple of months afterwards. So that's the plan. I'm going to do the same again. Now, last year I came 29th overall. I was 4th in my age, so technically I did qualify automatically, although it wasn't a qualifier for the Worlds, it was for the Euros, so I decided against the Euros. I did it in 2:25. I came out of the swim 32nd with 21:26. The bike, I was 24th fastest on the bike with a 1:17. And then on the run, I was 53rd fastest, which shows you where the work needs to be done, but I can't do it, which again leads to the next video in 40 minutes and 24 seconds. So my target for this year is to get in the top 10 overall and first in my age group. The person who did that last year was a guy called Stuart New, who I do know and is probably in Pontevedra. He was 7 minutes 30 quicker than me. His swim was basically the same time. His run was pretty much the same time, but he beat me by a good 5 or 6 minutes on the bike. So, and interestingly, actually, I raced him again a couple of weeks later in Cardiff, which was a World Championship qualifier, and he only beat me by a minute overall. So I think it's possible. I think targeting first in my age is in theory possible. Top 10 in theory possible overall. It just depends on what my legs do, considering I've done no running at all. Right, and just to finish off this video, going to draw out my little chart. We've not had this for a while. Drew this up when we started this whole series. And for those who've not seen it before, this is kind of the hypothetical, unrealistic, impossible goal. So that's the Olympics up there. And I think it was, not sure which Olympics it was. It's not Paris, it was the one before. And the winner during that one did the swim in 18:04, the 10K in 29:34, and the bike in 56:19. So, and this is here where I started. So you can see just along the bottom here, when I started 3 or 4 seasons ago, I think it's 3 seasons ago, in Brighton, 2022. And my overall time was 2:24 with a 25:12 swim, a 41:38 run, and a 1:14 bike. And these lines here, you can see the green line going up, you can see the blue line up the middle, and you can see the red line on the left there. That's my progress. So in 2024, I went from 2:24 to 2:14 at the Kathman, and that's what got me to Australia. And then last season in Brighton was my best performance, which is quite almost equivalent to the Kathman, and just a little bit of a flatter course. I managed a 2:11:07 overall. As you can see, the run hasn't really changed much since we started this. The swim has got marginally better, but the biggest jump has been the bike. And that's what I've really focused on, because you can see just through getting that bike from, 1:14 down there to 1:03, you know, I've made myself 11 minutes quicker overall. Interestingly, when I started this, I would have said my swim and the run were my strong points and the bike not. Now that I've kind of gone up a level, realistically, my run is a massive problem. And again, can't do anything about it this season, which was the plan, which is very annoying. Yeah, and what they kind of say is bike for show, run for dough. And that is pretty much true. Like if you watch any sort of top events with the elites in, you know, they're all in the bike pack together, or they're all the swim together. And then it's where the run is where the action happens. And unfortunately for me, there's not going to be much action when it comes to the run this season. So I am hoping that the bike, we've made a bit of progress on the bike, and I'm fairly confident to say I'm getting close to this sort of 59 sub 1 hour time. The swim is getting closer, sort of 22s, maybe even 21:30 if I have a really good day. And then I've just got to hope the run holds together. So there we go. So that's the update. That's the season plan. Next video, we're going to be talking about setbacks, how to manage those, how to not let them, I guess, drag you down, stop you trying to achieve what you want to achieve, and a few sort of steps and ideas and things that you could do to help you achieve that. Right, bit of a long video. Hope you found it interesting. I'll see you on the next one.